I am fantasy and paranormal romance author Leslye Penelope, and welcome to My Imaginary Friends, a look behind the scenes of an author mapping the worlds in my head and making them a reality. Hello, friends. Let me move my mic into the right place. Hello, friends. Today is Friday, January 30th, 2026, and this is episode 256 of My Imaginary Friends. I'm Leslye. I said Friday, and then I had to look at the computer clock because it feels like Saturday. But this whole week has felt very weird because I've been in the house and because of the snowstorm. Just a reminder, you can sign up for the Footnotes newsletter, which includes show notes for each episode and posts with inspiration, strategies, and ideas to help you grow as a creative. That is at myimaginaryfriends.net/footnotes. When you sign up, you can choose to become an imaginary best friend for a few dollars a month and get access to premium posts, as well as discounts on my courses and workshops. Speaking of which, I'm holding a live workshop on Saturday, February 7th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. It is called Build Your Author Funnel Live. It's a hands-on working session, live training to help you build an email system, an email funnel. So if you are an author and are interested in email funnels, that is going to be, I'll put it in the show notes when I do them. It'll be you can get more information at theauthor.digital/funnel-live. So, yeah, that'll be really fun. I want to do more live stuff. Someone emailed me about this and I was like, yeah, I want to there's a lot of teaching that I do about writing and craft, and I'm going to do more about websites and funnels and marketing and that kind of stuff. And then it's like I take a lot of workshops, I buy a lot of classes, and then I either don't take them, don't finish them, don't do the thing. So I want to do the thing. 2026 is about doing the thing. Welcome, everyone who is here live. Welcome those listening in the future or watching in the future. Let's see, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the workshop, which I'm really excited about. And then, okay, this week's best thing is I'm actually planning on leaving the house today for the first time in 7 days. So I'm in Maryland. We got like 13 and a half inches where I live of snow last week. And I spent various shoveling sessions. Since I couldn't go to the gym or work out, I got my workout through shoveling 13 and a half inches of snow off of my car and steps. And that was cool. But other than that, I haven't left the house. I know the roads have been crazy. Fortunately, the roads in my neighborhood have been plowed. I was watching some neighborhoods weren't plowed at all. So that's pretty scary. But yeah, I'm going to go mail some books out that some people ordered from my store. So I feel confident in leaving the house finally. I don't mind not leaving the house. You know, I'm an extreme introvert. And so staying here for a week, holding up, doing work. Mostly doing work. It's been very busy lately. If you're on the video, I've started drinking my tea out of a straw to try to mitigate the stains. I went to the dentist before the snow and I had all these tea stains because I drink 5 cups of tea a day. So this straw thing, I'm enjoying it. Hey, Library Addict. Library Addict says these are not fun workouts. That is true. They are not. I was trying to deadlift the snow, lift with your legs, not your back, and just really engage. But yeah, I would rather be doing my normal workouts if possible. So in my writing update, I have a couple of weeks of notes from what I wanted to tell you guys. So I was working on planning the revision for Blitches, my Black Witches story, which is the next novel that I'm working on. And I wrote the first draft as a script, if you have seen my previous podcasts about that. So I finally reread the entire script. I'd taken a few weeks off working on copy edits for the book that comes out in August, The Inevitable Undoing of Sahara Douglas. Next week, I have to dive back into proofread notes for that. So that's still not done. Arcs should be coming next month, crossing fingers. But Blitches, which still doesn't have any kind of title. I don't have a working title. I'm just calling it Blitches. I reread the script, and what I wrote down, it's actually good and exciting. Parentheses, thrilling even, until the end. I need to figure out villains, motivations, plots, and plans. So those were my basic notes. And yeah, I just did a post on my Substack this morning showing a first draft versus final draft of the opening scene of a short story that I wrote a few years ago. This is the Eternal Library short story about three eternal immortal librarians and this monstrous bookworm that is eating the library. And thinking through how I get from a first draft to a final draft is always because I love revision. Revision is one of my favorite parts of the writing process, but it's also very daunting. And I spent several weeks in this process planning the revision. I haven't even gotten back into writing yet. And just playing 3D chess in my mind, trying to move the pieces around. Because I want this Blitches story to be really twisty. It's a murder mystery. It is trying to decide whether it is dark academia or not. It takes place at a university. And I'm actually taking a dark academia class right now. And there's like elements that are supposed to be in dark academia that I'm interested in, but a lot of elements that I'm not interested in. And so trying to see is this how I'm going to market it, or is it just going to be something that takes place at a university? So going through planning, getting to what was my script? My script was like 118 pages, I think, in script form, which is just very bare bones. To I think my synopsis I'll be working from to write the next draft is 14 pages. It's something like 4,500 words. I should like pull it up and see exactly how long this thing is. It's a beast. It's one of the longer, because that was like single spaced. It's one of the longer synopses that I've done. But this, I needed to like write out everything in the story to really understand it. So I'm looking at where did it go? I'm not gonna be able to find it quickly. I put it in some sort of arcane folder. Oh, there it goes. I have like an organization system, but it doesn't always make sense to me, unfortunately. So the word count of this is 4,400 words. So that's like a whole short story in the synopsis. And that's not unusual for me, but I'm doing multiple POVs and I'm trying to tell the story in a different way. So figuring out how to get from my first script draft to this plan for my next draft was a challenge. And I started doing like a written diary of my thoughts. And I realized, just so I could, remember what I was doing. So I decided to add a character. There was already a murder. I decided to add an extra murder. And I have reasons. I have like good reasons for this that I laid out in this diary. I needed another character and I don't want to spoil anything, so I can't really go deep into it at the moment. I think I might do like a separate spoilers thing for this as I'm working on it. But yeah, it was for the story. It helped me to have another murder victim. And originally, when I went through, I was like, I'm going to change the murder victim who was in my first draft to a totally different person. And then I'm like, no, no, no. I'm going to keep the original one and add the second one. And that just helps with the tension. It helps with the twisty nature of it. I can have more twists and turns with more people, more suspects. I had a brainstorm while I was getting my hair twisted. So getting my hair done takes about 2.5 hours. And because of my issues with my elbow and wrist, I can't really read. I can't like hold a book and read it and have my head down while someone's doing my hair. So I just don't. I sit with my thoughts for 2 hours. But it helps me think and get like brainstorms for story things. And I was thinking about how I can have stronger motivations for my characters, for my murder. There's layers of villainy in this story. There's fake outs. And then I added another new thing that opened up a whole can of worms. It's sort of like programming. I'm a website developer for my day job. And I've always thought of the writing process kind of similar to software development. There's a QA process, which is like the revision where you're troubleshooting different things. And when you make a change in code, like even a small change, it can ripple out and have unintended consequences. And the same thing happens when you change a story, when you are plotting, replotting, revising, all of that stuff. So, adding another murder victim had a lot of ripple effects. I made another change that I didn't expect to have ripple effects, but it did. And I had to go back to the magic system and think through some other things. So that's why everything is connected, everything links together. Princess, hey, how are you doing? Princess says 14-page synopsis. Wow, how do you create the synopsis after the first draft? Totally good question. So yeah, my basic process, I read through the first draft and I evaluate what I like and don't like. I will often go through scene by scene and create a map, create a spreadsheet. Sometimes I do this by hand just so I can get off the computer. But sometimes I'll do it on the computer, depends. And I've tried different methodologies for this. So however I do it, I create a scene by scene kind of list of all the scenes, what they're doing, are they working, are they not working? And then I review that, and then I sort of tell myself the story again, beginning to end. And I kind of evaluate, how did the first draft not meet my expectations? What is left out? And try to figure out, just write it again, write the synopsis again, telling myself the story from beginning to end, and try to figure out all the things that were missing or that need to be improved. So I'm writing the new synopsis the way the next draft should be. And then it's just a lot of iteration. It's going through it over and over and over again. I had a really clean one about a week and a half ago, but it wasn't quite right. And so I took a day or two off, went back to it, and changed some things. So I will come up with an outline first. It's like big picture to small picture, like, big map to then the detailed version. The 14-page synopsis is the most detailed thing I can write before I actually start writing scenes and prose. So I go back through my the spreadsheet of the scenes. I re-outline everything. This time I did a timeline. I think I talked about using Eon Timeline. I used Eon Timeline initially, and then I had to go in and just do, because I've got 6 or 7 characters, and I need to know what each of them are doing on every day, because I was playing around with the timeline. So I made a spreadsheet, and in the columns are each day that the story takes place, and then the rows are each character. And then what are they doing? Who sees them doing that? So the timeline ended up, I took a break from the outline to figure out, because I just didn't know what was happening on every day. And that was very important for figuring out POVs, who saw what when, who knows what when, who did what and is hiding it, especially in a twisty story. I need a map. So that was really helpful. That really opened up some things. It opened up story things. And so having this spreadsheet timeline, going back to my outline, figuring out POVs is a challenge up until the very end, up until the last few days has been a challenge, because I wasn't sure if I was going to have multiple POVs, if I was going to be able to pull it off the way I wanted to. I had envisioned, if you've seen the movie Weapons, I enjoyed that movie. And it was told in this way, like there's, I think, 5 or 6 POVs, and they play with time. That kind of, each POV rewinds the timeline and shows you what this character was doing during that. And I wanted to do that in the book. And then I was like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can pull that off. Does that work? Is everyone doing something interesting? Hence why I needed the timeline and the real map of where everybody was. What were their secrets? What were they hiding? So I think I ended up with something that is not exactly what I wanted at the beginning, but it's still cool. It still gives me that energy. And I think it'll be still a twisty, fun read. This all could change again when I actually write it, but this is so detailed that I feel good about what I have. So hopefully that answered the question. If you are not on my reader newsletter, I am doing a survey of people who attended HBCUs, because for research purposes, I went to Howard. I had those experiences of Howard in the late 90s, but whether or not you went to Howard or any other HBCU, if you did, I would appreciate filling out the survey. I have to find the link. I'll put it in the show notes when I do them. So that would be super helpful. And yeah, that's the writing update. So next week, I'm going to probably start off with the proofreads for Zahara and then move into actually rewriting or writing draft 2 of Blitches. And I'm excited. I'm a little scared. I'm a little daunted, as usual, as always. But I like the synopsis I came up with. I feel good about it. I'm excited about it. And I think I said that before. I'm repeating myself, but that's what's happening in the writing world. In other publishing kind of news, I went to this bedazzling workshop. My friend Inez Johnson had gone to this place. If you're in the DMV area, it's in Gaithersburg, Maryland, which is coincidentally where I grew up for the most part. And it's this shop. I cannot remember the name of the store. I'll put that in the show notes too. But we bedazzled books. So if you're on the video feed, I'll show you my sparkly, I bedazzled the Obsidian Curse, and then I did the Cupid Guild. I don't know if you can even see it's hard to show on video or even film, but I did some bedazzling of that, and and the Monsters We Defy. And so I made Clara's on the cover, her hat ribbon is sparkly, and you can't see this at all on the video, but the words, the monsters, monsters and defy are in like white rhinestones. And I've been looking for kind of a off the computer hobby that doesn't require me to use my hand in a way that's going to tire it out. I've been doing coloring books. I've been coloring on the iPad, and then I have like real coloring books, and I bought some decent colored pencils, but that still is a little irritating to my hands and wrists and elbows and stuff. So the bedazzling is not. It is rough on my neck because I'm like bending, like hunched over, like placing tiny little rhinestones with glue on the book covers. But it's still fun. It's still relaxing. I can do it and listen to my audiobooks and zone out and not have my eyes be on a screen, which is something I'm trying to, reduce as much as possible my screen time when I'm not working. So it's fun. I'm going to do some giveaways. Like I'm in an auction, some kind of charity auction. I might put some of these, depending on how many I do, I'll put them on my store. I might do giveaways, or I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but they will be around eventually. If you're interested in a book to be dazzled by the author, it's relaxing. I'm not a crafty person. I've never been into crafts in that way. When I was a kid, I think, was it crochet? The thing with the little hook with the little flap on it. I don't know what it was called. I think it might have not have been crochet, but that's been 40 years. So it's fun. And it took home kits, so I can do it at home. Like I have got thousands of little mini rhinestones, and I've got the glue. And so, yeah, that's been a lot of fun. The Obsidian Curse, which came out, when was that? May, June of last year. For some reason, it had been stuck in Barnes and Noble. Like it was on sale at first, I think. And then I looked, and it wasn't. And I emailed them, Barnes and Noble Press, like 4 months ago, and they finally fixed it. So apropos of nothing, that was just a very annoying thing that happened. But if you were trying to buy it on Barnes & Noble, it's available again. Romancing the Vote is coming up, Library Addict says. Yeah, I think that there's another, I'm supposed to tell you about this. Read for Pixels is a charity that I'm doing a live stream in March and a Reddit Ask Me Anything. And of course, I don't have links, but those will be coming out soon. So, but yes, I will check out Romancing the Vote. There's another charity thing that's around. There's a lot of people raising money for various things. Latch hooking. Thank you, Summer. I think that must have been it. Yeah, it was like you get these little grid things and you put the yarn through with the little hook. That sounds right. My grandmother used to do that, and I think she had us doing it too. And maybe that's something I've longed to learn to knit, but I just don't know if I have the patience for that. So, as I recall, latch hooking was, although I've never knit, it seems easier than that. So yeah, those were my updates. There's probably stuff I'm forgetting, but I've forgotten. So thanks y'all for showing up and hanging out with me this morning. I will brave the frozen tundra of outside this afternoon to go to the post office and go to the grocery store and resupply myself with food. So hopefully we don't get any more weather. I don't know. I haven't looked at the weather report. One thing I did want to say, I have seen people um low-key shaming authors for like not focusing exclusively on the terrible things happening in Minneapolis and all over. Um, and I don't like that. I think that there, for my mental health, there's times when I don't look at the news. There's times when I doom scroll and get really upset and angry. And then there's times when I want to be away from it. And I think that it is very acceptable and fine to create spaces if you have a platform where if your platform is not about politics, it's fine if it is, like it doesn't mean that the person doesn't care if they are not shouting from the rooftops about all of the horrific things happening in this country and in the world. And I just wanted to say that because I don't like the idea of any kind of shaming of people using their platform in the way that they want to and creating a space that is not about that. Or if they want to talk about it 24/7, like that is their prerogative. And so it does not mean anything. And we are all not obligated to do things in the same way that everyone else is. You don't know what people are doing behind the scenes. You never know what's in someone's heart and what their actual actions are. And the things that you post on social media can be very performative and not indicative of any actions you might be taking. And yes, Library Addict says we need joy to sustain us. I think that if you read any of my books, my positions on many issues are very clear from my writing. And so I just wanted to put that out there. Princess asks, will there be arcs on NetGalley when they are ready of Sahara? Uh, Usually my publisher does put the arcs on NetGalley, so I believe so. It's a cautious yes. I will have more information next month. I think that usually the marketing meetings happen about 6 months before publication. And so, yeah, stay tuned for word on the arcs. But the previous books with Red Hook have both been on NetGalley, so I am hopeful and feel pretty good about the fact that Zahara will be on NetGalley as well. I will do this next time. I have gotten some custom art for Zahara and Annika, the twins, and the new book, and I will be revealing that soon. And I've got some swag. I've actually started super early. I ordered some of the swag for the pre-order campaign. There's more to come, so I probably won't even be doing pre-order campaign for another couple of months, but I am trying to pace myself and do things early so I'm not rushing. And really excited to start talking more about Zahara. I was trying to deal, it's been like in my Canva drafts for like 3 weeks. I want to do an aesthetic and I've got a bunch of pictures, but it's been really busy. Work has been really busy. I have a big website project that I'm working on, and which is great. But it just means I have to schedule everything out. But there's much more cool stuff coming. So yeah, my goals for the week. Next week will be about proofreading or responding to the proofreaders' queries about Zahara, and starting draft 2 of Glitches. Thank you for being here, and I will see you the next time. Episode show notes. Let me start over. Say that slower. Episode show notes. If you like them, you can sign up for the Footnotes newsletter and get them in your inbox at myimaginaryfriends.net. You can subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts and watch the video episodes on YouTube. You can always email me at podcast@lpenelope.com and give a rating or review on various places to support the show. Thanks a lot, y'all, and I will talk to you